Hey guys, but welcome back. So I'm going to be making a bird feeder here. I got an order for a Christmas present. I messed up. I went to Lowe's earlier and I got indoor wood, not exterior wood. So I did have some fence pickets here that I'm going to end up making it out of. So I had drawn out my plan, and my plan is not going to go as planned, so I'm just going to wing it. The height of it is 11 7/8. The width of it is around 7 inches. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Because this board's only 5.5 and I meant to get a 1x8 exterior, I'm going to rip these down into 3 5/8 and then join them together with Craig jig. So I'm going to cut these actually at 12. And another 11 7/8. So these will be for the front and the back. And the sides are going to be 6.5. And the bottom will be 6.5. I'll cut one more for the other side of the roof, and then we'll head over to the table saw and rip them down. I'll rip these down to 3.5 and join them together and make a total width of 7, and then they're 11 7/8 tall. And then for the bottom, we're going to go 4.5 inches wide. Just going to hit the edges with 120 grit before I Craig jig them together. So I just did 2.5, 6, and 2.5 in. Probably only need 2, but I want to make sure that it is sturdy. Moving on to the Craig jig here to join these two together. All right, those were the sides I was cutting angles on, just to give you an idea of what I'm doing here. So, rather this way. This was just me trying to figure out the angles of this thing. And then this will be the bottom, and it'll sit like that. And I had already drawn the lines here trying to figure out my angles. So, for instance, this will be the front, and it'll sit like said, so. And I'll draw the angles on that, sides, bottom, and back, or vice versa. And so I'm just going to put a little line here, and a little line here to mark my spots. And so this will be where this will be the bottom, sides, and then I'll cut the angle to the top here, which I still have to figure out. So I'm just going to actually run the square from that mark up to the center here. Alright, so that will be what the front and back look like. So I'm actually going to go cut this. Alright, I'm going to sand these down, and then we'll get ready to nail them together. Okay, so moving on to making the roofs now, both sides. So one of them is 9 1/4 long, and one of them's 10, and then they are 7 1/4 wide. So I'm gonna make rip them down to 2 5/8 and join those together. Let's get to it. And I already cut one to figure out the angle, so I'll be making cutting 3 more, and then I'll rip them down. Okay, so we're going to do 2 10-inch boards and 2 that are 9 1/4. So my 10. And these will be 9 1/4. To the table saw. I have it set at 3 5/8. I'm actually going to put the birdhouse together, and then I will join those. A little bit off because I traced it this way, so that is perfect, but the other way is not. So, rookie mistakes. We're getting there. I am actually going to sand this down a little bit. I have a little bit over edge here and a little over edge on the back. I'm gonna make sure that that is okay, and then I'll put on the bottom. Okay, now I'm going to be Craig jigging these together. So I'm just going to put 2 screws in these ones. Somehow they're not even. Anyways, take care of that. So they're 9, almost 9 on this side. So we'll just do 2.5 and at the 7 mark. And these I'm going to do 2.5 and we'll do it at the 7 mark. 120 grit. I might run it up here. Do 220 and 320 to the whole birdhouse. And then I'm going to paint this black and stain. I almost forgot that I have to put a hole in this for the birds. Kind of the whole point. So I'm going to do the bird hole at 7 inches from the bottom, and I'm going to put a little platform here for the birds to sit on. And I'm going to do about 1.5 inches hole. And I just drilled into one of my Craig jig screws, which I thought I had cleared. But here we are. So, that is not good. I don't believe I can get that out of there because of the angle I'm at. Okay, well, I got the screw out, so we're gonna keep on drilling the hole here, and then I'm kind of okay with not having that in there because I'm gonna put the little seat on here and I can reinforce it a little bit that way. Ouch. It's time to invest in new paddle bits. Fighting me every step of the way. And I think the easiest thing I'm going to do with this is hit that with my router and pray that that helps clean up that edge. I'm making it worse, folks. Okay, because I royally messed up the hole with the paddle bit because I forgot to drill this before I hooked it in and I couldn't fit this in the drill press. My paddle bit messed everything up. So I'm going to use my jigsaw. I made a circle out around, and then I'm going to hit it with my router to make this a nice rounded edge here. So we're kind of improvising. It's a learning curve here. Helps if you plug it in. I've collectively just decided that I'm giving this to my parents for Christmas because it's something only parents could love because I mess it up so many times. I'm going to nail this together. And go sleep and regroup, and tomorrow I'll be making a birdhouse that looks very similar to this, only hopefully pretty mistake-free. This one was pretty rough, I do say. Me every step of the way here tonight. It might be me. I might be the problem. Probably is the case. Not you, Birdhouse, it's me. Make sure this goes on correctly before I nail everything. That's what I thought, had a gap in the front. Oh, it had moved. Okay. A lot of those nails on the top didn't have nails. I'm calling it. Head on over to the other room here and put some paint on it, some stain, and see how it looks. For all the mistakes, hasn't turned out half bad, I guess. All right, moving on to the painting part. I'm going to do black on the top. And stain on the bottom.